In this video, we'll start to explore some of these ridiculous combo chart connections, because right now we're just checking at this statement here. With Chart.JS, it is possible to create mixed charts that are a combination of two or more different chart types. Well, so far we tried with what we had, and it was very disappointing not to be able to see. However, maybe you say, well, look, you have different data points. If you see, you have to look at my previous video to understand that, of course. We use different data structure because a scatter and a bubble has a different structure compared to line and a bar chart. Of course, I question then what other chart has compared to this. Similar here, probably nothing. But what we do have is, I believe that radar chart and the polar area chart are very similar with each other. So let's explore those two together. But I do not believe that you can add a pie chart with that as well. Alright, so let's go back here. We have these mixed charts and let's see here. So we have these lines here, and let's start to change this from a whatever we have here. Let's remove this. This is not necessary. And let's change this. So we say here a polar area. And once we have this polar area with this wonderful data set here, what is the next part we want? We have a polar area and we have a radar. Alright, so we type in radar. So these two charts I do not use much. So let's start and refresh. And now we have, alright, we have a polar area, but we don't see our radar here. So why not? So what are we missing here? Black. We have colors here. Do we have anything? Let's try and explore this. Do we have anything that does not work? So you can see the structure is also very different, because the structure here, we have a label of each of these probably. Now you can see here display files, scales, and we have the values here. So we have the labels. Well, I don't see real differences, so that does not work. What if we do a pie? You can see that pi does not work as well. Of course, pi will definitely not work because the structure is not consistent with this. So basically, nothing works. The only thing what does work is here. If you put in bar here. Oh, that's some weird background noise. Alright, sorry. I think something happened outside. Alright, so we save this here, refresh. This works, and one probably would say, well, we have this, but what's really the functionality of this? So basically, for example, you have here a target. You have these target numbers here, and then here you would have like the target for, or at least, sorry, this is your sales numbers. Imagine these are the sales numbers. Yeah, so we say sales numbers here. Sales for the month, and this is the target of the month. So that is what I personally use this a lot for, that you can see your targets. And let's say we always have a different month, different targets. So we say 5, we have 7, we have 4, we have here 2, we have here let's say 3, and then just imagine this is the or a specific season, so it's not a low season, so it's not that busy. Let's refresh. Now you have like this kind of target line that is really fascinating and useful. Of course, you need to change the color here. So if you would say here, first of all, this should be transparent, or you hide this out. Transparent will make it completely gone. That's beautiful. This should be a very strong color. What I do like is orange. Red is a strong color. It's nice to spot. And then you can see here we have these lines. And then basically you say, well, if I look at my chart here, I can see instantly when we are good, when we're performing well, and when we're performing horrible. So as you can see here, March and April, well, very bad month. But January and February, very successful. And July, well, we went through the roof. Beautiful. So that's basically this combo chart. So I want to show you something that, because maybe you look at this and say, well, this is not acceptable. If you are or well, if you are really like that detailed focus. I'm very detailed focus on that, and a few things I truly do not like. You can see this here, this color here is white, and you can see here the reason why it's white, because this here has a background color connection, or the point border color, or sorry, not the point background color. So let's start and fill up these things. And maybe you say, well, I do not like this here as well. This should be a line, not a square box, because we don't have a square box here, right? This is a line. This square box is fine. Yes, we can do that as well. And if you hover over here, you can see these tooltips here. Look, the tooltip doesn't make any sense. We are hiding this here as well. So let's play around with those items. Normally I should do this in a specific video, but it is also related. Because you probably will see this and say, well, this is horrible. Or at least I see this always, and for me this is a pain point. Alright, so let's start and do exactly what we want to do. First things first. So I said here about what I call here the border, not the border, so the background point color. Let's go back here. This is for the line, and we go here to the line chart, and in the line chart, you see here, look, like here they do the same mistake here because they didn't define any color. It looks, or maybe they make it gray. I'm not sure. I think they make this gray. Yes. So let's search for this. We have here, what is that? The border point color, point, or the point border color, probably the point background color. That's it. The point background color. We need not the hover, but the background. So I already know what it is. Do I have it here somewhere? Point border, oh, point background, sorry, point border, no, point background color. That's the one. There you are. Let's put it in here quickly, since this video is starting to get very long. And we say here, well, orange red, that's it. Remember, this is a string value, so putting in quotation, that's fine. Go back here, refresh. There you are. Alright, this works. Sadly enough here, it does not work. Alright, so we're going to adjust that later on as well. We can change this because this should be fine. So maybe you say, well, this is all fancy, but this should not be here at all. You're right. So that is very important because if you hover over now, you can see our square box is orange. So let's remove this again. Then you'll see our square box was transparent or no color at all. As you can see here, square box. Well, this one is not. So we have to make this a line here. So let's do that now, and then what we want to do here, of course, we want to hover and we want to see both of these values at the same time when we hover. Yes? So let's do that first because I know that one at the top of my head because I'm using it very often. And let's see here. So what is that? It's tooltips. And then we go for mode, and I have a hard time to find it right now. I think it's up here somewhere. Interaction probably, and then here mode. Alright, so this is in the tooltips. Yes? We have the mode, and you can see a string nearest. What we have more is what we want to do is we want to use index. So what is index? Index will show you find all the same index, find items at the same index, meaning within this segment these two are together in one index. So we say here tooltips mode. So I'll just put it in here because I already know it. So we say tooltips, then we say here curly brackets, and then we say mode equals, is a string, we say index, comma, save this, refresh, there you are. Now we have on our tooltip, we see both values. You can see if we hover not at the nearest, we just hover any of these two or in any of these values here, it will just show up. Beautiful. This is beautiful, so you don't have to pinpoint at the near location, but you can control that. If you say, well, I want to show it only if it's here nearby this or nearby that, possible. How do you do that? That is, if I'm not mistaken, nearest, it's nearest, but what we call that, we have mode nearest, event, I think it's interaction, intersect, this is intersect true, so I have to check on that one. However, this is already fine. So what we want to do next is we're going in the legend. You can see here is tooltips for legend. And in the legend, what we want to do here is to use a point. So this is very important. This is a very advanced feature, or at least advanced. It's complicated if you didn't know this. So you say use point style. Yes, so we're going to use this. This is very important. So what we want to do here is to match up this here. So we want this to be a line. This can be a square, or whatever it is. Right now it's fine. But this one must match up with a line. It should not be like that. So what we say here, in the tooltips, or not in the tooltips, we'll say here legends. Yes, and then we have to double check, is it legend or legend? I think it's legend. Well, we have to just check later on, but we can just try because here we have labels. Yes, so that's very important. Now when it's labels with the S, use point style, and remember this is a boolean meaning true or false. By default it's set on false. So now we have true. So what does that mean? So now we need to use this point style. So we have now the point style. If we do this, nothing happens. fine. Now change this here. We say here point style, and then we say here this is a string, comma, line. Save this, refresh, and there you are. So now by default it will become a circular thing, although it's quite nice. Then you have here the line. This is beautiful, and you can see here now it removes also the dot in here. Well, everything else and the design, everything looks very consistent, and this is the way it should be. If you don't like this dot here, this circle, although I do like it, it's really beautiful, let's remove that as well. So how do you remove this? We put it in here. We can say here, if you want to know more about this, of course, you have not the point, you have to go back to the line or the bar. Basically you can do in the line, and then if you have a line, you can see somewhere here point style. You can see point style. You can use even an image if you want. You can click here more. You can see every possible type: line, dash, rectangular, rec rounded corner, was it rec rotated, star, triangle, whatever you want. I like a circle. No, I want a rectangular. Let's put in a rectangular here because this is a square thing, so that's fine. Put it all together, and now it's not really a rectangular, it's a square box. But more than that is basically not available right now, and this is really, really nice. Now you have this wonderful legend and everything looks beautiful.